Coach Shap Boyd joining us here on Sports Talk, and he's probably as anxious as anybody to get it going. Coach, good evening. How are you?
I'm doing great. Yeah, and anxious is not the word. That is a mild understatement.
I can bet. Because, you're ready to go in the fall, and then everybody got shut down. You had to wait till the spring. But it's a good thing that the school and everybody was behind you enough to put together a schedule here in the spring, and you guys can play.
There's no doubt. I mean, I was kidding around about I can't even call Dabo. I can't call anybody and get advice about how to play 19 games in the next year, because we're fixing to play 8 this spring and then turn around and play 10 or 11 in the fall. So we're going to have our hands full.
Well, tell us about the team. I mean, you're a new baby. This is brand new names. Everybody is going to be a first-time starter for you. That's kind of cool. How do you think your team looks as you get ready to take on Barton on Saturday?
Who knows? We have good days, bad days. As you know, it's basically mostly freshmen, redshirt freshmen with a few upperclassmen. But, I know this. We are really, really tired of practice. And we definitely need to see a different colored jersey. And I think that's something that feeling is going around between our players and our coaching staff. So it's just, I feel like it's only been 2 years in the making. We're in my third year here, but I feel like it's been closer to 70 as far as how this thing's been dragging on. So,
well, there's probably no team in the country that has practiced more between games, considering your last game was in like 1950-something, and your next game here is in 2021, and all you've done is practice in between, so you should be ready to go.
I don't know if you're ever going to be ready, but we definitely need to play.
Yeah.
There is no doubt about that. So, it's been good. It's been, but again, we definitely need to line up against somebody else, because we need a barometer, and we need to be able to figure out kind of where we stack up, where we stand. What we need to address, for the fall as far as the recruiting needs go, and we just need a better way to gauge our progress at this point.
So give us a few of the particulars: starting quarterback, starting running back, some of the guys you expect to be the team leaders.
Well, I mean, the quarterbacks, for the most of camp, the quarterbacks have been kind of like they've been running a couple of them, 1 and 2, and it's. I think they've kind of have settled on. I think Mr. Craig Pender, is right now would be in the lead, and then a fellow by the name of Lance Brownlee. Pender is a freshman, and Brownlee is a redshirt freshman. So they're both fairly young. Neither one of them have played a college snap yet, and so it's going to be interesting, and we will see. But those are the two that are taking most of the snaps and projected to take most of the snaps. So,
I remember from meeting with you during our pigskin tour, back when you were first getting started before your first practice, your goal was to play a very physical brand of offensive football. You believe in running the football. Are you happy with what you've installed offensively? Have the guys kind of bought in? Have you got the kind of guys to run the kind of offense you want to run?
Well, I mean, we're not there yet, no. But we're not really there anywhere at this point. It's 2 recruiting classes, and it's going to take a few more as far as that goes to kind of evolve. But we're certainly heading in the right direction. I think we have players that want to be physical and are certainly going to try and be physical. And I think that that has been conveyed to them. And I think that's something that when we have our good moments, that's certainly a big part of what we're trying to do. So we definitely, some of the things that we've got some pretty good backs, and I think they do some really good things. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that plays out on Saturday.
Yeah. How about defensively? What kind of scheme do you plan to run there, and what's your take on what you'll roll out there defensively?
defensively, we're going to try to put as many athletes on the field as we can, and it's going to be a defensive scheme designed for ease on our end. Trying not to confuse our kids, which I feel like at times can be pretty easy to do. So we're trying not to confuse ourselves, but being able to be multiple. We want to be an attacking style defense. We're not going to be a bend but don't break defense. So, we're going to pin our ears back. We're going to do some things. We're going to play combination of both man and zone coverages, but we are going to be aggressive. So it's I think it will work, and I think it'll marry up with our offense. I think our offense will be aggressive as well. And if we haven't conveyed anything else to them these past 2 years, I think that's kind of what we're trying to get across, is that we are going to try and be physical. We are going to try and get things done. We do want to get to the point where we can impose our will. We don't want to be at the hands of anybody else's. And those are things that, again, that's a process, and we have to evolve, continue to evolve in the recruiting world, and continue to add to our arsenal already what we need to fulfill that plan.
Well, you're opening up with a couple of road trips, one into North Carolina to play Barton, and then next week at Edward Waters, which opened up against Jackson State this past weekend. What about Barton? What should the fans know about your opponent this weekend?
That's a good question. They're a lot like us. If I'm looking at their roster and whatever, they probably have a few more transfers than we do. But they got a lot of freshmen and a lot of redshirt freshmen. So they're trying to do the same thing we're trying to do. As far as what they do, their head coach has been successful. He was at North Carolina A&T. He's been places, and he's had success where he's been. So I have no doubt in my mind that, he will have that team prepared to play. And if based on what I've seen, film-wise, if they're doing anything close to the things that he's done where he's been, they've been pretty good. They've been pretty physical themselves. So it's going to be interesting. I was talking to him, and I said, I just hope it's a competitive game. I don't want either team to blow the other one out. I want to see a game. I want to be in a ball game for 4 quarters. That's kind of, we need that, I guess, at this point. We need to find out a lot about our kids, and we're evaluating our own personnel still at this point, and this is going to be our first real chance to do that, because we don't, in the NCAA, you don't have the ability to scrimmage other people. We don't have that ability, so we have never had a chance to line up against anyone else, and we are definitely looking forward to it.
Absolutely. Last thing, what's the feedback you've been getting from folks around the campus, around the community, maybe alum around the state, about being so close now to having, the tangible feel of a football team and a football season to enjoy and to hop in the car and drive to Greenwood in a couple of weeks to watch Erskine college football?
I think the feel and the vibe that I get from I think on campus here, there is a vibe, but I think it's a little bit subdued still. I think a lot of people, it's just kind of a very surreal thing, because they don't know. They don't know that it took 10 years to get football here. The AD was fighting for this for over 10 years. So this has been a long-term process in the making. The people that are really kind of dialed into this are the alums, the people that are around the state that really understand how long it's been and what the process was in trying to get football here. And I don't even know that our players, I was trying to preach to them a little bit this week, is how much that they have no idea how much this game is going to mean to the Erskine alum, the Erskine faithful, especially that first home game, March 13th. Mm-hmm. And so it's something that I don't know that the players can grasp it, and I don't even know if our assistants really understand it, because they're not, on the radio shows, and they're not the ones that are talking to the people as much. But I just think there's a ton of people anticipating this, and there's a ton of people really excited about Erskine football, and looking forward to it. I can't really put it into words but I also just want to kind of get to it and let's get through this first one.
Absolutely.
I want to try and enjoy it, but I want to, we've been leading up to this first one for a long time.
Let's see what the baby looks like finally once you get out there. Listen, thank you very much. Good luck this weekend. We'll be talking to you again and hopefully get into a ball game or two sometime here in the spring.
Well, I appreciate it, and thanks for having us on.
As always. Thank you, Coach. Coach Shap Boyd from Erskine, finally, after a couple of years of preparation, ready to put his team on the field, and like he said, anxious to get out there and hit somebody else. They are tired of seeing the same jersey, and they want to see what they've been able to put together.